Hi everyone, I'm back and I'm just gonna make sure that everything is in the middle and that you can see. Sorry. It seems my camera stand is moving on its own. But just want everybody to be able to see. And I'm gonna pull you up on my iPad so that I know if you are watching, you can say hi. All right, perfect. So I think that we move this down a little bit. So I'm going to be demonstrating today the Whale Done bundle. And the Whale Done bundle, these are the inks that we're going to be using today. The Whale Done bundle comes with the photopolymer stamp set, and the photopolymer looks like this. So it's clear and you can see exactly where it is that you are stamping. And it also comes with this cute whale punch. And the whale punch does go ahead and coordinate with the whale right here. Now, what we're gonna do today is we are going to make 3x3 cards, which are the small, tiny, like gift cards, I would say. We're gonna be using just Jade, Blackberry Bliss, and Pretty Peacock as our colors. And we're gonna have some different card bases, but they're pretty much gonna match our ink, except for one of them that's gonna be Granny Apple Green. But these cards are cased from our annual catalog. So these are not my own ideas, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you what we're gonna be making today. So we're gonna be making these 3 cards right here. You're kind of a big deal, hoping all your birthday fishes come true, and Whale Done. So we're gonna be doing these 3 cards right here. And we are going to be using the Whale Done designer series paper. Sorry. Thank you, Jackie. Hi, Valerie. Hi, Mom. Yes, Jackie's looking at my ring. My boyfriend did propose on Wednesday, so we're very excited, and we have started the planning already, which is fun and exciting, and our family is just as excited as we are. So, all right, so our first card that we're going to make is we're going to use Granny Apple Green for our card base. And again, this is a 3x3 card. So when I cut my base, I cut at 3x6, and then I score at 3 in the middle so that it is 3x3. So this is going to be our inside, and I closed my catalog, the picture that we're going to be making. So let me get back to it. All right. So the first one, we are going to, let me see. This is the one with the beautiful turtle. So we're going to go ahead and take out our turtle, which is right over here, and this saying our sentiment, which I am gonna go ahead and heat emboss today. So we're gonna start with our tape runner. We're gonna go ahead and adhere our designer series paper onto our card base. just line it up in the middle as best as we can. We're gonna go ahead and stamp our turtle on just a white cardstock. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use a technique called the rock and roll. So that technique, and hopefully it comes out good because I haven't done it in a while. But I'm just trying to get a hard surface because my table that I'm working on is kind of fluffy. So we're gonna start with our light color first, which is our Just Jade. So we're gonna ink up our turtle, and we're gonna go ahead and stamp it on our white paper. Now we're gonna close that off, and we're going to use our Pretty Peacock. And what I'm gonna do is, before I put the stamp, I do need to clean it off because I don't want the colors to get mixed. So basically the rock and roll is you're only getting the edges of the stamp set, and so if you notice, I do have some of the pigment on the side, but in the middle there is no ink. It's only on the edges. So I gotta make sure I line up my turtle, and the photopolymer stamp sets are really good for this. And you get kind of a two, okay, we're gonna do that over again. I didn't line him up correctly, but so we can do that again because we are gonna fussy cut him. Let's see, stamp once, and we're gonna stamp again, okay? We're gonna clean our stamp set off, and then rock and roll our stamp. Let's get some on the bottom there, and we're gonna line him up as best as we can. And that's a little bit better. So as you see, you get a two-tone on the color. So you have one color that really stands out in the middle, and another color that stands out just on the around the edges. Okay, so we're gonna put our ink pans away, and with our turtle, there is no die cut for it or punch, so we're going to use the technique of fussy cutting. So when we fussy cut, the best thing to do is to move your paper and not so much your scissor. Only when you're opening the scissor, obviously, because you've run out of cutting room. But it's easier to go ahead and move the paper. Hi, Aunt Kathy. So, and then I'm gonna cut that part out just because it's easier for me to get into just the nooks and crannies of the turtle. Okay, so we fussy cut our turtle, and I can use that as scrap. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and emboss our sentiment, and we're going to use the heat embossing for this. So I'm going to go ahead and load up my sentiment, and the sentiment says, hoping all your birthday wishes come true. So to heat emboss, we're going to use the white powder, And to do that, we're gonna need our little tray and our heat tool. So just plugging everything in. All right. And to emboss, you do need to use the Versamark Mark stamp pad, and it's just basically a clear ink. So we're gonna ink up our stamp, and we're gonna cut this we're gonna put it all the way to the edge. So we press down, there we go, and as you can see, it just leaves a watermark for the moment, but we go ahead, we take our little tray, and we're going to use a white powder. Now the white powder that I have is not from Stampin' Up. This is a powder that I had from before, but everything else is Stampin' Up. This is the only thing that is not. So when we're done, we go ahead and just shake off the card, and as you can see, it is grainy right now, but once we use our heat tool, it's going to be a little bit loud, but you're going to see how it starts to change. Okay, so as you can see, now it is shiny, and when you pass your finger through it, it is raised up a bit. So we're going to put some tape runner on here, and we only want a little bit of this strip right here, because I don't want to hide too much of the reefs on the bottom. So we're gonna go ahead and put it there, and then we're gonna add some more tape to it, and we're gonna go a little bit towards the bottom, but enough so that some of our reefs do pop out. And I'm gonna go ahead and stamp directly on the designer series paper some fish. Now the catalog has it in a Calypso Coral, but I'm going to go ahead and use Blackberry Bliss. So we can take off our sentiment, and we're going to use our little fishies. And we're going to stamp off once and put some fishies swimming in the background. Now we can just create a little school of fish. There we go. Now whenever you do use darker colors, just so that you know, they do stain your stamps, but it is completely clean. So if you put this on another color, you don't need to worry about it staining your ink pads. It is clean, it just stains the stamps. So now that we have our fishies in the background, we are going to use some dimensionals, because I want my little turtle to be raised up. Hi Jenny, how are you? And we're just going to take the backing off of our dimensionals. And we're gonna put our little turtle right here. So this is our first card right here. And again, it's a 3x3 card. And we're gonna go ahead and put our white card inside. I was missing my tape runner, but I went ahead and I found it. It was right in front of me. And we're just gonna put that here in the middle. That way you can go ahead and write just your little message, and it does go inside one of our 3x3 envelopes. So this is one of the cards. We're gonna put that aside. Now we're going to, on this next card, my base that I used is Just Jade. Just Jade is one of our new in colors. So we will have this color for the next 2 years. So again, this card is 3x3. I cut at 3 inches and then at 6, score at 3 in the middle. We're also going to use the Whale Done Designer Series paper. So we're gonna go ahead and put our Designer Series paper on there. And for this card, we will be using the whale stamp and the punch. So we have our Designer Series paper. Now this is just a scrap of white paper that I had. So I'm gonna take my whale, and he's gonna go on one of my bigger blocks. So we just press down, and we are going to stamp him in Blackberry Bliss. So we're gonna go ahead and ink him up. And because we're gonna use the punch, we're just gonna go ahead and put him towards, let me make sure, the bottom. There we go. Alright, and as you can see, he's got his little fin, his eyes, and we're gonna use our whale punch. Now we're only going to punch out the whale, but if you wanted to, you could punch this on a solid cardstock, and this another color. This actually comes down here for the belly, and this is his fin. You have the little water that can spew out of his blowhole, and you have the little dot, which would be his eyes. So we're gonna go ahead and put our paper through, and we're just gonna line him up on our punch. And as you see, he fits just right in the punch. And we're gonna punch him out. And of course, everything else does punch out, but we're not gonna use that today. So here is our whale. And the sentiment that we are going to use is Whale Done, which I think is super cute. So you see the darker colors do stain your stamps, but when you put it, you know, if you just stamp off a few times, your stamp is clean, so you don't need to worry about that. So we're gonna get our sentiment, and our sentiment is well done. And we're gonna go ahead and stamp it just on this scrap piece of Whisper White. And I'm gonna go ahead and use the same color as our card base, which is just jade. And this goes in our little scrap pile. So we're gonna ink up our stamp. And we're just going to center it. There we go. We're gonna close this ink pad. We're just gonna clean our stamp. And for this one, both our sentiment and our whale are going to be with dimensionals. So we're going to go ahead and put our sentiment first. And it's gonna go towards the bottom of our card, and the wheel's just gonna go a little bit up on the top. Put that right there. Gonna flip our little wheel over, and gonna put some dimensionals, and I am gonna cut a small piece just to secure his tail, because we don't want it flopping around. Perfect. So we just take the backings off of our dimensionals. And we're gonna go ahead and put him just right above our sentiment. Now, I don't have any sequins to put like as far as his little bubbles, but I do have some glitter enamel dots that we're gonna go ahead and use. Some small ones. So we're gonna take take your pick tool, and we're going to use a small one. We can put it right here, and then we're going to use another smaller one if I can. And this is why your take your pick tool is awesome. Put one there. So kind of looks like he's got little bubbles coming out from the top of his blowhole. So here is our second little card. And again, these cards you can use to put in the our smaller envelopes, and you can attach them to gifts, so we're gonna put our Whisper White cardstock on the inside, so we do have room to write our special message to that special someone that we're going to be sending this real cute card to. So, and then we're gonna go ahead and do our last card. Now I did have to change up a little bit from the catalog, because I do not have the square scallop dies. I have the rectangular ones, but it just wasn't gonna look right. So I went ahead and I just kept it completely squared up to maintain that look of it. And for this one, the only thing that we are using is our sentiment, which says you're kind of a big deal. So for this one, the card base is Pretty Peacock, and again, it is a 3x3. So I cut at 3 inches, then I cut at 6, and I scored at 3. So for this one, again, we're still using the Designer Series paper from the Whale Done. And remember, our Designer Series paper is double-sided, so you can use either side. And my snail adhesive just keeps getting stuck. So we're gonna go ahead and put our Designer Series paper. And I love this little crab that is on the paper. Isn't he the cutest? So next, we're gonna go ahead and, I lost my block there for a minute. We're gonna mount our stamp onto our clear block. And for this one, I am gonna use Pretty Peacock ink. But I'm gonna stamp off one time and then stamp again just to see how it looks. Yeah, I think I like it stamped off once, just so that it has a little bit of a fade to it. So we're gonna ink up our stamp again, stamp it off one time, and we're gonna try to center it as best as we can. And then just press it down to make sure it gets enough ink. There we go. Perfect. It's not too dark, but it's not too light. It's just great. So I'm gonna go ahead and I am gonna put some dimensionals on our sentiment, and we are going to go ahead and mount that on Granny Apple Green. So we're going to put some dimensionals. I hope you're all having a great summer. We decided to take our kids yesterday to Urban Air, and we ourselves started jumping on the trampolines, and we're definitely feeling our age today. So I'm gonna go ahead and center our sentiment. And I also want this raised from the actual card as well. So we're gonna put some more dimensionals on our Granny Apple Green. Put our dimensionals away. Let me just take the backing off. And that's just gonna go straight on the center. Actually, I'm gonna put it a little bit above so that we can see the little crab, because I love him. I think he is adorable. So there we go. And they did use on their card some gilded gems, and I don't have those either. So we're gonna use some of those gold enamel dots as well again. But before we do that, we're gonna go ahead and put in the inside our white cardstock so that we are able to write our message. Here we go. And let's see. So these are the gold glitter enamel dots. They are absolutely beautiful. They're nice and glittery. So again, we're gonna take your pick tool, and let me see, I think I want one right here. And I'm gonna put one right here. And I think that's good. So that is our third and final card. So just so that you can see the different cards that we made today, and all of these are 3x3. So we used the Whale Done bundle, and when I say bundle, it is because if you purchase the bundle, you get the stamp set and the punch. These can be purchased separately if you didn't want either or, but it's always a great deal to get the bundle. Better for what you're spending, it's better to get the bundle. So we used the Whale Done bundle, stamp set and punch, and then we also used the Whale Done Designer Series paper, and we made these 3 cards that are 3x3, and these fit in our smaller envelopes as well. And these you can go ahead and just include on a birthday gift, and it's a small card. So Whale Done, you're kind of a big deal, and hoping all your birthday fishes come true. So thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, or if you want to know more about Stampin' Up! Our products or any of my upcoming classes, please just reach out to me, let me know, and I will be happy to give you that information. So bye guys, thank you.